Gaming Podcast, episode 751, recorded on April 22nd, 2025.
Hello, and welcome to the 751st edition of the TD Gaming Podcast and 584th episode of Video Game Roundtable. I am TJ Denzer.
I am Scott Dirk.
And I am Jonah Falcon.
The VGRT Gaming Podcast focuses on game news from around the industry.
So, we've been watching a bunch of trailers. And I posted them in the Skype thing. One, Deliver at All Costs, is basically, I don't know what the basic plot is, but everything is destructible.
It looks like a lot of fun too. I saw from the trailer you can smash into literally everything. Yeah. Things blow up. You're knocking people down, and all in pursuit of delivering this package at all costs.
Yeah. And then Mouse PI for Hire, which is basically Cuphead meets BioShock.
It's very cute. It's very noir with the black and white and the animation and the creative weapons too.
Yeah. And then you have Dusk Fade, which is basically Kingdom Hearts meets Darksiders.
It's an interesting combination there, but I think it looks like a fun adventure game and a lot of platforming and just cool action.
But that one's not coming out for a while. That's coming out next year. Anyways, let's talk about what we've been playing. I will say what I've been playing right now. Not the obvious, which was released today. So I'm just going to go with Crime Scene Cleaner first. It's Viscera Cleanup Detail meets Power Wash Simulator, and you're playing a janitor who's cleaning up really grisly crime scenes. Now, TJ, you watched me play Viscera Cleanup Detail a long time ago, so you know what's involved. Blood, getting out a mop, and getting all the trash in the basket and all that stuff. So.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've seen that game on a Let's Play, and it gets really messy.
Oh, yeah. The benefit of this game is it's a lot like Power Wash Simulator in that there's a button you can press. It'll show you what stains are still there in your vision, and you have to put furniture back, and you have to gather evidence. And so far, I've 100%ed the levels I've played because it's so fun to just, just explore these areas. I felt no rush whatsoever. I also finally beat the game. Well, I beat Slay the Spire with my 4th character, which means now I have the final goal of having to beat them on level 20, which is going to be tough. It's going to take me forever. But I did it. And also, the other game I've been playing a lot of is Blueprints. That's the hot new game right now, Blueprints. Have either of you played it or seen it?
I have seen it. It looked good. I have it on my wish list, in fact.
Okay.
I have it in my library. I haven't cracked it yet because I've been on a few other things at the time.
So it's a roguelike. And it's actually pretty much like the game I've wish listed, which is putting down dungeon rooms and then going through them and exploring. Except this one's different. It's a puzzle game. So what happens is that as you go along, it encourages you to write down stuff, and you better, because you have to. You only unlock things by having things in specific rooms next to each other or whatever. For example, I had to unlock a room by using the breaker box, and the breaker box only does things if you put it, you can't get blue and purple without doing, or you have to get them all white. So I went through all of that, and not only did I unlock a new room, but I also got a bonus 2 gems every time I started the level. In the game, you have gems, you have keys, and you have dice. Gems allow you to unlock special rooms, which are more than. These are required to unlock doors because as you keep going further north, the doors get more and more locked. And then dice allow you to re-roll the rooms you get, and you only get 3 rooms. And very often, you won't run out of steps because every time you go into a room, you spend steps. And when it hits 0, you have to leave. Normally, what happens is that you have no place to put rooms because all the exits are blocked. And then you have to start over. It is really strange but fun. And every time I'm on my thing, I can see friends playing it. There's always at least 1 or 2 friends playing the game while I'm sitting down. So it can get infuriating a bit, but that's fine. It's a good infuriating.
That's cool. I'm really excited for that. It sounds like it has a really fun puzzle gameplay flow to it.
And the thing is that when you get the computer password, and the only way you can do it is by using a magnifying glass to look at a thing, because also you get special items, and one of those magnifying glass, use a magnifying glass, you can see what the word is. And the thing is that password will never change. It'll always be that password. And then you have to start unlocking secrets, and that's when you have to really pay attention to what the game is telling you. It's fun as hell. I'm taking a break from it right now. And I'm also playing a certain game that was just released today. We're going to be talking about it a little bit later. Scott, what have you been playing?
I've been finishing up the Suikoden 1 and 2 remaster, and I also have the Lunar remaster next as well.
Yeah, now they have the Onimusha remasters coming up. 1 and 2.
I know, there's a lot of remasters coming out. That's crazy.
Well, there's a remaster released today.
Yep. The Oblivion.
Which people didn't think was going to be released today. They thought it was just going to be announced today. And I was like, yeah, it's here. And no, by the way, you can play it now. Bethesda does that a lot, actually. They did that with Fallout Shelter. Here's this cool, puzzle. Not a puzzle. What would you call Fallout Shelter anyway? Yeah,
Fallout Shelter.
Base building?
I would call it a pocket Civ management game.
Yeah,
like
Sim Tower.
Yeah, but here's the thing. They did the same thing with that. There was an E3. Oh, here's this really cool management game. And oh, by the way, download it now. And it's free.
Yeah.
This game isn't free, but, But never underestimate the value of a shadow drop. So, TJ, what have you been playing?
I reviewed the hell out of Fatal Fury City of the Wolves. If anyone knows me and follows this podcast, then they know that this has probably been my most anticipated game of the year. Fatal Fury is a series that's very near and dear to my heart. I've been playing it since I was 3 years old, and I had the first game on Sega Genesis back in 1990.
Of course, you'd be praying to the altar of SNK.
I love the fighting in the game. The arcade mode is one of the best I've seen. The last 2 months of press for this game have been the weirdest and kind of most upsetting thing I've seen in a long time.
By the way, the official release is in 2 days on April 24th. Right now is early access.
Reviews went out yesterday, and folks are in early access right now. In the last 2 months, they announced Cristiano Ronaldo
yes,
for the game.
Final Rock. And
the problem with that is, well, there's a few things wrong with it. For one, Cristiano Ronaldo right now is playing on the Saudi Arabian national team, and the Saudi Arabian kingdom just happens to own a massive chunk of SNK. He was put in the game. He doesn't look like his real world person. He looks like Adam Sandler in a soccer outfit. He can't be played in arcade mode. He can't be played in story mode. He can't be color edited. He doesn't have an original song. And that stinks of like a last minute decision and meddling. Then there's the fact that Ronaldo is an alleged sex offender. He got into trouble in Vegas a while back and had to paid a settlement for the person to go away. That sucks.
Yeah, that's terrible.
And it makes me so mad that they just shoved this asshole into this game because of outside influence.
Who knows? Maybe it was Adam Sandler, and they just changed the name.
I don't know because they got
that's a decision they can make later if they want to. What's it called in future? Or they just call him Adam Sandler. Here, Adam, get some more millions.
Yeah, and it's such a bummer because everything else about the game is pretty peachy. Like the UI for online lobbies is a little rough. Like making problems that were solved with Halo 2 back in 2004, and like. And then the story mode is kind of lackluster. The arcade mode actually has more story and character lore than the story mode, which is confounding. The fighting is fantastic. I love it. Like most of the characters are great, and the systems in the game make you consider offense and defense very carefully, to the point where like there is a lot of defensive mechanics that can lead to getting your turn back for some offense. It has one of the best wrestler characters I've seen in a while, which is who I'm playing. His name is T-Zoc, also known as in Japan as Griffin Mask, because he wears a giant griffin mask and feathers over his head.
He's the king of the dinosaurs.
No, he's not. That's a heel, and he would never be a heel. He's a hero. They've never been in the same.
He is king of the dinosaurs. Damn it.
He's absolutely not.
Dinosaurs evil now.
Okay, so end joke. The king of the dinosaurs is T-Zoc in his heel wrestling persona.
Yeah.
And so they insist that they're different people, but like, yeah.
So you have some DLC coming out. 4 of them are also characters from Fatal Fury, and one of them is Chun-Li.
And then Ken Masters as well.
Wait, Ken Masters is in Fatal Fury?
Yeah, Ken and Chun-Li are both.
It's Eddie Bogart, Joe Higashi, Ken Masters, and Mr. Big.
Mm-hmm.
And then Chun-Li.
So yeah, like putting aside the ickiness that I feel for the things that happened at last minute in this game, it's a very fun fighting game, and I'll probably be playing it for the next ever. Outside of that, I guess that's about it. I really have been spending most of my time there.
So, what'd you think of the new Doom trailer that dropped a few days ago?
It's pretty cool. We got to see. We got to see
a crossbow turn into a BFG.
Yeah. We also they've also posted one of the first looks at the new Cyber Demon, which is looking burly.
That's some story too. It's interesting that the evil devil seems to be the main antagonist. Says, "Okay, listen, everybody, stay away from the Doomslayer."
Mm-hmm. I'm excited. It looks fun. It looks funner than Doom Eternal did, but I don't know if it'll be as good as Doom 2016 because that's a very high bar to reach, and they don't have the element of surprise anymore. But I have a feeling it's going to be at least better than Doom Eternal.
But here's the other thing. You know what other trailer just dropped a few days ago?
What's that?
Painkiller.
Which one?
Painkiller. So we
That's
have
right.
2 Dooms coming out in 1 year. It's like, you want Doom, or how about some Doom? Painkiller looks great. Painkiller's always been a melding of Doom and other games.
Wasn't there a collection that they're selling where it's like Doom on everything possible?
Oh yeah. They have a collection which is Doom 64, Doom 1, Doom 2, this, that, yeah. But Painkiller is like Doom, except somehow even more mindless and faster. So everybody's excited about Painkiller coming out this year as well. So you have Doom and you have Painkiller going at it. Another Crab's Treasure gets a huge Year of the Crab update. You'll have a fully remixed new game plus. A lot of people like this Souls-like. It's a lot different than most Souls-likes in that basically the main function is that you can change your shell, and the shell that you change it to changes your fighting style.
Mm-hmm. The added new game plus in the big update, and in addition to like changing the arrangement of enemy encounters and other stuff in the game, there's also apparently a new boss that's at the end of that new game plus mode that isn't in the normal game. So I'm very much considering a second playthrough of that just to see what that boss looks like.
I still haven't played it. It's on Game Pass, but I haven't tried it out yet.
It's very fun. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. Like, as far as a Souls-like goes, I think it's one of the most interesting and deviating ones that I've played in a while.
It's also one of the easier ones too. It's not quite as brutally punishing as a regular Souls-like.
Yeah, it's also just charming as hell. The whole premise of it is silly and also somewhat.
Yeah, but it also has that ecological message too.
Oh yeah,
because all this shit is happening because of microplastics, and that's your main mode of currency is microplastics.
Yeah, the microplastics are the souls in the game. And you kill them, and you get and it's very much implied that the more a creature spends time around the microplastics, it just makes them go crazy. Yeah. And that's why the enemies are just babbling nonsense and attacking you.
See, we don't know what microplastics do yet. I mean, all of us right now have microplastics in our brains right now. That's how pervasive they are, and we still don't know how they affect us.
Yeah. But in the world of Another Crab's Treasure, microplastics are treasures from the sky and meant to be collected, and it causes a lot of problems.
Yeah. Devolver Digital reveals that Cult of the Lamb is its best-selling IP at around $90 million in revenue. Astroneer is the closest. I played the shit out of Cult of the Lamb, and I completed it. And I don't know when I'm going to return to it. It is.
They have another big expansion coming up for it right around the corner, so that might be a good time.
That might, yeah. See, here's the thing. I like Cult of the Lamb a lot, but doing the boss is tough as hell. The first boss is easy, but as you go along, they just get more and more unfair and more frustrating. I was shocked that I was able to beat the final boss in one go. Because I was going to replay.
Did you kill him, or did you turn him into your follower?
I turned him into my follower, and since he's immortal, I forced him to marry me.
That's great. I love that character.
So yeah, Cult of the Lamb is great. If you like the Binding of Isaac and like having, I'm trying to remember the game that also emulates, I guess, sort of like Hades. I don't know. But it's Cult of the Lamb, but it has a lot more going for it because you have to build up your cult. You have to build buildings. Like, you have to sweep up the poop. But sometimes the poop is great. If it's multicolored poop, you want to keep that poop. If it's golden poop, you want to keep that poop. You know, it's fun. But it is also an investment. It is a real investment.
Yeah.
Anyways, we're going to move on to game news. And we talked about this 3 weeks ago. Star Wars Zero Company gets its first trailer with a 2026 release window. This comes from Shack News. This week's Star Wars convention in Japan, and I know it wasn't in the United States because we all know what the U.S. is. It's May the 4th. Had a special panel featuring teams from Bit Reactor, Respawn Entertainment, and Lucasfilm Games. And it's an XCOM type game called Star Wars Zero Company. Now, I'm going to get off script right now. The way I see it is that this looks like it's a mixture between XCOM and Marvel's Midnight Suns. Because in this game, you are a character and that cannot change. And you hire other characters and they do not change. So you do have, I think you do have random guys, but you also have characters who never change. And the other thing is that it's sort of like Jagged Alliance in that if they don't get along, you're going to have problems on the battlefield. So it takes place in the Clone Wars, and you take the perspective of Hawks, a former disgraced Republic officer who's been lead to lead a ragtag crew of hired guns. It'll include Jedis and Mandalorians, but you also can get them to bond, just like in XCOM 2. Also, I'm pretty sure that you'll have a 95% chance to hit with your lightsaber and you'll miss. It's pure XCOM that way. It's going to be coming out in 2026 for PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series SX.
Nice. Yeah, this game looks... A lot of people have been waiting on this game to see what this would look like for a long time because it's been in development for quite a while already. And there was concern about whether or not it would make it because when they had the last time they had a round of major layoffs at EA, they ended up canceling like 2 other projects that were greenlit, Star Wars projects that were greenlit alongside this one.
By the way, there is a Star Wars mod for XCOM, XCOM 2. So it's sort of interesting because another thing we're going to be talking about also has a mod that's coming out. And they embraced the fact that this game came out. But keeping on Star Wars Zero Company, Bit Reactor has done a really good job. But what's interesting to me is that Respawn is also involved. I don't know what they're involved with, but they're involved with the game.
They're kind of EA's concierge of the Star Wars universe these days, since they hit such success with Star Wars Jedi.
Yeah. I don't think Bit Reactor needs, it's not like, oh, by the way, it's Respawn too. No, Bit Reactor has a name in the strategy game world.
Yeah, I agree. I'm excited to. I'm really, 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 really excited to see more of this one because I have a feeling they're going to knock it out of the park.
Yeah, because they've been involved with a bunch of games, and basically, a lot of people feel like they're Firaxis. They're Firaxis without the baggage.
Yeah, and like Jake Solomon was the big deal for like a lot of the XCOM, and he was the lead on Marvel Sons, obviously. But it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out, especially given that it's more like it reminds me a little bit more of the XCOM spinoff game Chimera Squad instead of like a regular XCOM game. With the
Chimera Squad though was very condensed. You're just dealing with a room or two. This one's going to have the same XCOM battlefield.
Sure, I mean like in the management of the characters and their relationships to each other.
Bit Reactor also said they want to do for strategy games what Baldur's Gate 3 did for role-playing games. So that's kind of ambitious. I mean, it is Star Wars. I mean, some people are going to play Star Wars even if it was just a click game, you know. So. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go.
I'm happy to see that like we're not just doing Jedis with this one. We're doing like kind of all over the spectrum of Star Wars, where we're gonna have like bounty hunters, Jedi. It looks like we have a clone trooper in our group in the game.
Well, yeah, it takes place during the Clone Wars.
Mm-hmm. So. But each of them is like very different in their place and their place and allegiances in the Star Wars universe. Which I like that. I like that a lot.
I think it's going to be, or because what happens is whenever you say a ragtag bunch of misfits, it's going to tell me that these are all people who screwed up and are here now. Like the Mandalorian character was kicked out of the Mandalorians, the clone trooper left, that sort of thing, you know. So, what happens when you screw up with your organization in the Star Wars universe? Anyways, we're going to move on. Okay, Paul, are you here? Paul? No? Oh, Scott, it's your turn. Go ahead.
Yes. Gamers shocked as Elder Scrolls 4 revealed and launched on the same day. This is from BBC. Video game studio Bethesda has announced the long-rumored launch of a remastered version of its 2006 hit Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. The fourth installment of the series has maintained a cult following among fans despite it being almost 2 decades since its original release. Now gamers have been surprised as a remaster of the classic game has not only been announced, but released to digital stores immediately. It comes as fans await the next game in the series, with the most recent entry, Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, having been reliased in 2011. I bought that game.
Well, everybody knows the release date because it was 11/11/11.
Yeah, it's so memorable and put 500 hours into that game. More than 600,000 people watched the live announcement on YouTube. Bethesda showed off a series of significant graphic upgrades to its launch video with updated gameplay, user interface, and audio systems. Players will also be able to upgrade their characters in a new way, combining systems both from the original and the sequel. The news will now leave fans wondering if they may now soon see some news about Elder Scrolls 6, which was announced in 2018, some 7 years after Skyrim's release.
You know,
That
they
has
make it
been
sound like it's a cult game, but it was gigantic in 2006, which, by the way, is
it's
19 years ago.
been huge. Like if you're in gaming at all, you'll hear about Elder Scrolls one way or the other.
This is,
And
you know, you're the one I saw.
big
in my
role-playing series, and just people. I think for 6, they're expecting Hammerfell, and looks like it's going to be like a desert region.
I just
Not
remember
too-
that Patrick Stewart was heavily advertised as part of the game, and he only appears in the first 5 minutes, then he's killed.
Yeah, but he's like one of the
You're the one I saw.
emperors, and
Yes, not the last emperor, because you have to go find his illegitimate son Martin, and I won't spoil anything more. It's one of the few Elder Scrolls games that I actually completed. I also 100%ed it on achievements. I was checking out the achievements, and they're the same achievements. So it should be no problem for me to just get a bunch of new achievements, just like that. Because basically what it was do all the guilds. But here's the thing: I never really did the Shivering Isles. Now that I think about it, so there will be something new for me.
So this does come with Shivering Isles, right?
Yes, it does,
Yes,
Okay.
it has all the DLC.
That's good.
including the horse armor.
Oh yeah, I saw that. That's right.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was a
that's cool.
funny little end joke. I'm glad that they do have both Shivering Isles and Knights of the Nine, though.
So did you guys see how Bethesda gave free keys to the Sky Oblivion mod makers for the Oblivion?
So here's the other thing: Skyblivion released a notice today on Reddit, and to just cut everything what they said short was Oblivion is so on right now. You can have 2 Oblivion games in the same year.
That's crazy.
So they're not. A lot of people are worried that this is going to steal the fire from them, but no. I mean, people are going to try both versions, especially since the fact that the Oblivion, I think the Skyblivion one is going to be either free or almost nothing.
You want to hear? Did you hear that they gifted the game to that entire mod team?
Yes, Scott just said that.
Oh, my bad. Sorry.
Yeah, it's.
I mean, that's
I've been
pretty,
playing.
pretty wholesome thing to do.
That's great. Yeah. They've been keeping the game on everybody's collective conscious for a long time. They deserve to be rewarded for that.
So I played. Right now, I have just gotten to Joffrey, although I took a side mission because I found that flower, and it says, "Hey." And then when I got there, it says, "Oh no, it's going to be a collect quest. I might as well move on with the main quest now." And people don't realize that Oblivion was huge too. There's so much reading material in it, and it was the reading material that Oblivion that inspired people just to go nuts with it in Skyrim. It was in Morrowind too, but Oblivion went nuts on it, then Skyrim really went nuts on it.
But it makes you wonder what Elder Scrolls 6 is going to look like. Or
It's going to
be
come
like.
with a lending library.
Yeah.
The character creator in the remaster is looking splendid. And I
Oh.
mean, like,
Yeah,
you can
very
make
creative with that thing.
you can make all sorts of cool stuff, but you can also make it's a monster creator.
Yes, I saw that. There was some weird green fungus guy or something.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
People will still treat you like you're handsome.
Yeah.
But yeah, the faces are still a little bit uncanny, just with a lot more wrinkles. There's one guy that I met, and he was green, wrinkly, with red eyes with yellow sclera. I had no idea what race he was supposed to be. He might have been an elf. I don't know. And I know they call the elves something different in the game. I forgot what they call it.
Tharamir?
Palmer, whatever. But anyways, yeah, so it's on Game Pass. So I was able to do it immediately. And it's interesting getting back into Oblivion again. And the thing is, I was never really that big a fan of Skyrim. But since I 100%ed Oblivion back in the day, I figure I'm going to 100% it again. Because the achievements are easy. I mean, the Fighters Guild especially. Really, really easy. We're gonna move on. Go ahead, TJ.
Okay. Palworld lawyers state existence of Titanfall 2, Ark, and even Legend of Zelda invalidates Nintendo's patents. From Eurogamer. Pocket Pair has responded to Nintendo's legal action by asserting the patents the Pokemon Company believes Pocket Pair has contravened are invalid due to other games that came before it, including Ark Survival Evolved, Tomb Raider, and even Nintendo's own Legend of Zelda series. Pocket Pair maintains through prior preparatory briefs that Nintendo's patents in suit shouldn't have been granted given games using the systems and art protected by the patents were already in existence. Specifically, the developer said the patents contravene art already in place in Ark Survival Evolved, Pocket Souls, and its own Craftpedia, as well as a whole list of other notable references, including Final Fantasy XIV, Tomb Raider, Far Cry 5, Titanfall 2, Octopath Traveler, Pikmin 3, Monster Hunter Ultimate, and a range of prior Pokemon games. Pocket Pair states that games like Rune Factory 5, Titanfall 2, and Pikmin 3 Deluxe make it easy to see how a character can perform an action to release a monster or a capture item like a ball and fire in a direction by releasing a button. Whilst Pikmin 3 Deluxe, Far Cry 5, and Tomb Raider already showed that there can be different types of throwable objects. Furthermore, Pocket Souls, Octopath Traveler, Monster Super League, and Final Fantasy XIV made it easy to imagine that one could pick targets on a field and then show an indication of how likely the capture operation is to succeed.
Well, that's so stupid.
And generally speaking, it has been an element of the Pokemon series for more than 30 years that different capture items have different success rates. If, like Pocket Pair believes, all these games already invalidate Nintendo's patents, it doesn't matter whether Palworld does what such a patent describes. You can infringe on an invalid patent all you want.
I'm not sure that's a great argument, but I do
It is a great argument because what is Nintendo going to do? They're going to sue Electronic Arts for Titanfall 2?
Well, Nino Kununi 2, or not 2, the first one, sorry, had a whole Pokemon mechanic as well.
I'm just saying, it's just
said
Nintendo,
that they
give it up, Nintendo. Because here's the thing about Nintendo: when they sick their lawyers on you, they're trying to intimidate you.
to get a settlement.
But Pocket Pair says, "Oh yeah, well we have lawyers too."
The thing about Nintendo though is that they also don't file lawsuits unless they are pretty certain they're going to win them. They don't do that stuff.
Who's Pocket Pair? They're nobodies. But they seem to forget something. Pocket Pair teamed up with Microsoft to get it on Game Pass. Do you think Microsoft wants them to bork Palworld?
Well, also
and Sony.
The publishing company behind Pocket Pair is also I think it's Nexon behind them, but I can't remember.
It's like sure. Nintendo tries to bully people, but they're like all bullies. They're cowards when someone says, "Oh yeah, what you gonna do about it?" Huh? Because remember, the one thing that I would say, yeah, Nintendo has a point, was Game Freak. Or no, the Game Genie. The Game Genie. Like, Nintendo had a point, but Game Genie said, oh yeah? Well, we have lawyers too. What you going to do about it? And Nintendo slunk off and said, oh, okay.
So are we then at a point where, like, we're going to have to see Nintendo is now going to have to try to say what makes its patents different from every single one of these games?
Something like that. And there's two other things, but I'm pretty sure Pocket Pair is ready to say, oh yeah, well, these people did it too. So, but yeah, I'd be very surprised if Nintendo wins this case. And even if they did, it isn't about the money because they get like $50,000. They just want control over the game. It's not going to happen. And Microsoft and Nexon and possibly Sony are going to say, no, Nintendo, get away with this one. This isn't some people who are holding a Pokemon party and happen to have an image of Pikachu on their poster. If you remember, Nintendo shut that down. Nintendo hates its fans, doesn't it?
It doesn't hate its fans. It just hates anything that costs it money.
No, those things don't cost them money at all. Anyway, it's penny wise and pound foolish. And speaking of which, Nintendo raising cost of Switch 2 accessories in the US due to tariffs, but console price to remain the same. I'm going to tell you right now, this is 100% bullshit on the console price not being affected by the tariffs. They most definitely were affected by the tariffs. Nintendo has finally detailed how U.S. tariffs will impact the launch of Switch 2 and confirmed the price rises for an array of console accessories due to changes in market conditions. A new set of Joy-Con controllers will now cost $95, increase of $5. And the Switch 2, wait, they were going to be $90 anyway? What the ever living hell? The Joy-Con controllers suck. They suck. The Switch 2 Pro controller and Switch 2 camera will be seeing $5 price raises up to $85 and $55 respectively. But the $450 Switch 2 itself, including its $500 bundle with Mario Kart World, will not increase in price for now, Nintendo has decided. The key software launches Mario Kart World, $80 when bought separately, and Donkey Kong Bonanza, $70 will all remain unchanged at launch, Nintendo has said. The news comes along a backdrop of calls for Nintendo to lower the price of the Switch 2, something that has been increasingly unlikely as the expected impact of tariffs become clear. I'm going to tell you something. Some of the people who are yelling loudest about the price are the Japanese fans, because the Switch is double in price to what the Switch 1 was. And they have no excuse for tariffs there. Switch 2 pre-orders are in the US, which have delayed since Nintendo took stock of the fluctuating economic situation, and will finally begin the 24th of April 24th. But you better have been what Nintendo should if you want to be on that pre-order list. They want you to be a true fan, and of course, gatekeeping like that never costs Nintendo.
Well, the reason they're doing it is to try to circumvent scalpers that are going to try to buy up stock and hoard it.
Yeah,
By
whatever.
Like it's not. If you look at the restrictions that they have,
The scalpers did buy the Switches. That's the point.
Yeah, but that means that. But having a Nintendo account that's been in activity for a certain amount of time, and then having a certain amount of playtime on it,
do they know
they're not going to be able to like
gamers?
make? It means they're not going to be able to make like 12 different Nintendo accounts and then try to all sign it up for the email and get 12 different Nintendo Switch 2s.
Anyway. There's going to be an artificial shortage anyway. They already said there's going to be an artificial shortage.
Well, sure, because of supply and demand and the cost of things, but
no, but they're not going to match demand. They're deliberately going to limit supply. And the thing is that strategy may not work this time around.
I've heard the opposite. I've heard that they're going to be trying to make more than enough for everybody, so that that aftermarket sellers can't screw people over.
I don't know.
The biggest thing that they're trying to curtail is aftermarket sellers this time. Like most of the stuff they've been doing is specifically to target aftermarket sellers and keep them from doing that.
See, when the Wii U was released, Nintendo was run by businessmen. And look what happened. So they went and they got the developers and the people who were involved in video game creation for the Switch. And then now the businessmen are back in charge. And that's always been a disaster for Nintendo. It's always been a disaster. I don't see. I can't not see a Wii U situation happening again, especially when Nintendo says, "Well, if you can't afford it, just buy a Switch." Well, yeah, I'll buy a Switch. What is it, $100 now? Oh, it plays the same games just with a lesser resolution. Thank you, Nintendo.
I'm really interested to see how this thing sells because I agree with you that there are risks, and I also think that just like it's a weird time in the world right now, and that's a lot of money to ask of people.
The Mario Kart World looks ass,
Mario Kart World looks ass? What the hell? Man, it's Mario Kart Forza Horizon.
Look, I want to play that. You get to go off.
The game that looks good is Donkey Kong Bonanza. Yeah, and that's exactly the point why Mario Kart World sucks.
You're crazy. The moment that they said free roam mode, I was like, I'm going to play this with all my nieces and nephews. We're going to just drive around the world and take pictures together and explore tracks. It's
That's
crazy.
awesome.
That's what they always say.
I don't know.
Regardless, I don't know if this is gonna. I mean, Nintendo fans aren't like, oh, we really need ray tracing. That's the one thing that's been missing from Nintendo.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, there are risks. There are definitely weird. There's a lot of uncertainty in the world right now, and I think that's the greatest threat to this. Is that
you want to bet when the tariffs are gone, the Switch is going to remain high priced until parts don't talk? It says.
Well, the current price it wasn't set because of the tariffs.
No, and like I said, it's double the price of the Switch in Japan.
Yeah.
But it was $450 because of the tariffs. They just want to seem nice and say, "Oh, we're not going to raise it because of the tariffs." Yeah, because you already raised it because of it. You knew it was coming. They knew it was coming. They didn't. They announced the price after Trump was elected. Damn it.
They did price with the expectation that these tariffs were coming. So that is
so it's
true.
not like they're going to say they're not. But here's the thing: if the tariffs went away tomorrow, it's going to remain $450. They're not going to say, "Oh, no." It's not out of the goodness of your heart.
But in about 2 or 3 years, they're also going to probably do a refresh for it. So
the thing is that if they're selling stuff at $90, it's like, well, Microsoft and Sony are going to say, well, guess what? It's all $90 too, and our software is better. It takes more. I mean, it takes more people to create Call of Duty than it does to make.
I think a lot of people are looking at indie games instead of these AAA games now.
That's the rub now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or PC gaming, for that matter. Let me see something about. I think Elder Scrolls. Let me see something. Look at the store page here. Yeah, Elder Scrolls Oblivion is $50, which is kind of high for a remaster, and that's the PC version. So, yeah, I don't know until players actually say no. And what's the chance of that? Because you got to get your games now, baby. You got to get your games now. You can't wait.
I mean, there'll be somebody there'll be plenty of people.
There'll be somebody, not enough. Yeah. It's like everybody's pissed off at NBA 2K25, but it makes enough money that they say, well, we don't have to change. You people complain all the time. It's like the $15 map DLC for Call of Duty. People complain the hell out of that, which was sort of like $25 in today's money. But you know what? They still sold it. You can't protest something and then buy it.
The problem is the people that are buying it aren't the people that are protesting it. There are plenty that don't buy it.
No, but the same people who buy it, because without the core fans, who else is buying it? I'm talking about hardcore Call of Duty fans who are multiplayer players complain the shit out of those map packs for $15. Still bought them because they felt they had to. It's fine if you don't.
I mean, I can give you a demographic of people that are absolutely probably going to be making decisions about it next year. The From Software fans are going to be straight up like deciding real hard if they need to spend $450 on this thing, because they'll want to know if Dustbloods is worth it. That's a big carrot for them.
Also, it's a live service game.
Yeah.
So that's also another. It's fine if you have the name there. It's not so fine if you're requiring people to
if they're putting out the software to support this, and
here's the other thing too. People play multiplayer Souls-likes anyway.
What?
They play multiplayer Souls-likes anyway. It's just that you can have an invader in your system. That's all they really want.
Yeah.
You already have that on the other systems. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with it. I have a feeling it's going to be like a 6-month limited time exclusive, because I can't see a lot of people playing online games at all on the Switch. It's not there. I mean, they just discovered voice chat.
Yeah, it'll very much be an interesting thing to see how Nintendo Switch Online holds up, because it kind of depends on the game.
By the way, that also proves Nintendo was full of shit when they said they had friend codes because they were worried about online predators.
Sure, but what I was saying before was Mario Kart 8 Deluxe impeccable online. Splatoon 3, impeccable online. Smash Bros. Ultimate, the worst online you've ever seen in a fighting game.
That's
Just
because
absolute
it's
trash.
great when you play it in Japan.
It's the strangest thing. Like, Nintendo has a track record of making like really, really, really good online play, and like also the worst online play you've ever seen, depending on the
Depends
game.
on who's the developer. and where see Smash Brothers, a lot of their online games suck because they're in Japan and everything is just condensed, so you don't have to worry about latency.
Mm-hmm.
When you have to play someone in the US, now you have latency coming into play, and all your servers are in Japan.
I am very much interested to see, though, how Nintendo Switch Online ends up operating on Nintendo Switch 2 to see like if it improves or if it's going to be the same.
Interesting to see what the Switch version of the Switch 2 games will be like, because there are some games that are not only for the Switch 2, but they're going to have Switch 1 versions of those games. I will say this: I'm be very interested to see how Doom plays on the Switch 2.
Yeah, that's right, because they're bringing over Doom Eternal, Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal to Switch 2. And it seems an awful lot like they're doing away with the remote like stream play thing and actually putting the games on Switch 2. Did you notice that? Like, we haven't seen a Doom Eternal online Nintendo Switch online version, whereas we've seen that with like Control and which one was it? What other ones? I think the Call of Duty games did that.
Yeah, but they increased the size of their hard drive to a massive 256 gigabytes.
Yeah.
And it tells me that the thing is about the Switch 2 is that it's going to be in 1080p upscaled to 4K, which is fine. And that also saves space on the hard drive space. So it makes me wonder how big the Doom games will be if they're locked to 1080p with upscaling. It should take away some of the agita, but still, I mean, a lot of people complain they fill up their terabyte hard drives fast on the PS5 and Xbox.
Yeah, I ended up getting extra storage for the PS5 specifically because of that. The moment that M2 upgrade became available, I picked that up right away.
Yeah. Oh, also, I forgot that I've been playing Titanfall. It's been a while.
Oh, what do you think of it?
I like it. It's a typical Rebellion game, though. But the one thing I did not expect about that game was all the melee that you'd have to do in it, and all the stealth. I'm going to tell you right now, if there's at least two people who see you, you better get ready to run, because you melee or not, you're never going to be able to fend them off. So I got through most of the game without fighting many people. I stealthed the shit out of it.
Nice. It is a very, very
it's a strange game. It's one of those games that it's a lot like Breath of the Wild, because a lot of it is not holding your hand at all. You have to figure everything out. Mm-hmm. If there's someplace you want to go on the map, you better put that marker down yourself, because it's not going to tell you where it is. It's going to say, oh, well, here you are. Good luck.
I don't know if it's the most sandbox Rebellion game, but it's pretty dang up there as far as just like not giving you a direction. You just go explore. Find stuff.
If you're tired of Far Cry with all the icons on the map, this is the game for you.
Yeah.
You have to have your brains out, because a lot of it is not even, you will get missions when you find an item, right? But it'll give you vague directions of where it might be. It might be there.
Yeah. I actually
where it might be.
When I played that game in preview, there was times, I don't know if it was like this in the release version, but there was times where it would only give me like coordinates to where a thing was,
there's only
and I had to like check it against the map and actually look for the place where the
and some of the coordinates are off the map. You say, oh shit, I have to go to a new region.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I thought that was cool. I think that's a neat little thing that it makes you do in the game, where you actually have to like do a little bit of like map cartography and figuring out like your way.
Like I said, it's like Breath of the Wild. It's not going to tell you where to go. Find it yourself. I gave you the information. You figure out the rest. Because the entire point of the game is to grab 4 things and put them in a generator, and that's it. That's the entire game. How you do it, game don't care. You just do it. So yeah. I'd like to see more games like it. Rebellion, though, has a kind of softness to its games. I mean, yeah, the Sniper Elite games are really fun, but there's a not a jankiness, just a softness to it in which you sort of like too easy to make mistakes.
Yeah, yeah. Like there was quite a few times when I was playing in the preview where like, I in the first minutes of the game, I probably died about 15 times trying to figure out how to get my feet underneath me. Not only like figure out the learning curve between the fighting, but also figure out how to deal with enemies in a way that didn't get me just shellacked every time.
See, by the way, I always kept on confusing this game with Clockwork Revolution, and now I'm really looking forward to Clockwork Revolution. The better version of BioShock Infinite.
Oh yeah, is that the one that the Wasteland devs are working on?
No, that's In Exile.
Oh,
That's Brian Fargo.
Yeah, is that not it?
Oh yeah, Wasteland. I'm sorry. Yeah, the Wasteland devs. Right. I thought you say Wasteland like the name of the developer. Yeah, no, yeah, it's Brian Fargo. It's the Wasteland people.
Yeah, the Wasteland franchise. Sorry.
Yeah, this is. It's so BioShock Infinite. I can't tell the difference.
Given how much I loved the story of Wasteland 3, I'm excited to see what that game ends up being.
Yeah, Brian Fargo is a really good developer.
Yeah.
He's
I absolutely love the factions of clowns and monster mask people that fight each other in that game.
So, in case you don't know who Brian Fargo was, he was the guy behind Wasteland, Bard's Tale, Battle Chess,
I love
Neuromancer.
Battle Chess.
Yeah, and he made a couple of Star Trek games, and then he helped found Black Isle. And for those who don't know what Black Isle was, it's Icewind Dale, Planescape Torment, and a little game called Baldur's Gate.
I love that series, Baldur's Gate.
Yeah. And oh, by the way, a certain company sprung out of Black Isle called BioWare.
Nice. Yeah, that's a story of history.
He's been around. Oh, yeah. So what happens is that he was just floating around, right? And then he saw Double Fine get all this backing for their game. So he said, you know what? I could do that too. So he just did Wasteland 2, which was okay. Have you ever played Wasteland 2?
I played a little bit of it. I didn't get far into it.
I didn't get far into it either. It seems like a really brutal
hard
game. Very tough.
Yeah, they made a wise choice making Wasteland 3 a little bit easier. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to. They also did the Lost Vikings.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he was also the one who got SimCity on CD-ROM. Oh, wow. I forgot. Yeah, he also did this tiny little game called Fallout.
Oh yeah.
Wait, he did Fallout as well?
Fallout and Fallout 2. Yep.
Wait, Brian Fargo made Wasteland and Fallout?
Yes.
That's wild.
That's why they made Fallout.
I didn't realize he was behind both.
He didn't have the rights to Wasteland, so he had to make Fallout. Fallout is Wasteland.
Oh my goodness!
If you play the first Wasteland, you'll say, "Wait a minute, this sounds an awful lot like the plot to the first Fallout." And guess what? It was. And oh, by the way, he made the special system because Steve Jackson at the last minute pulled GURPS because he wanted more money.
Wasteland didn't have the Vault-Tec thing, so they
had something different. They had a same device that was going to help the Wasteland grow again.
They had
the Rangers in.
They had the Rangers, which became the NCR in Fallout.
You're talking about the GEC, though, right? The Garden of Eden creation kit.
Yeah, they had something similar to it in Wasteland. That the game revolved around. But no. He also did Rock and Roll Racing.
Dang, he did a lot of cool stuff.
Yep, and Clay Fighter. Clay Fighter, by the way, is one of the most underrated fighting games you'll ever play.
Clay Fighter is less cool than the other things, but it was definitely like a thing of its time and very
He made the
interesting.
first. He made the first Star Trek adventure game, Star Trek 25th Anniversary, and Star Trek Judgment Rights,
Nice.
and Stonekeep, and Starfleet Academy.
I remember even at like the time that I played Clay Fighter when I was but a wee lad, I just remember even then thinking, man, this is kind of too weird.
But you know what happens
I
is
thought it was
if you
very
watch.
creative and interesting.
But here's the thing: I don't know if you noticed it when you were playing it, but you'd see the fingerprints of people as they moved.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of the same thing they did, by the way, the Wallace and Gromit thing for the CGI one. Yeah, I mean, oh, the other thing. Oh, yeah, another game that you would never expect that he was the executive producer for. Mario Teaches Typing.
It's funny that they actually know what that is and where it came from.
He also did Out of This World. I don't know if you ever played that.
Wait, the adventure game?
Yeah.
I think I remember that.
It was called
No.
Another World in Europe, but it was out of the.
I thought
out
that
of this
was
world.
Adam or Chahi.
It was Delphine Software, and he had it was Eric Chahi, but Brian Fargo was the executive producer.
Oh. Wow.
Published it for Interplay. He had his hands in a lot of games of the 90s. He was everywhere. So yeah, so he's making Clockwork Revolution, and I hope it's a better version of BioShock Infinite, because here's the thing: I did not like the plot nor the ending of BioShock Infinite. I just didn't.
It's a very divisive game.
Good idea, but he didn't go all the way through with it.
Yeah. I've heard a lot. I have never played it all the way through, but I have some idea of like the premise and how it goes. It sounds very divisive.
Yeah, all these games he was the executive producer for, and he was the. It's just bizarre. Anyways, so yeah, we're looking forward to that game. Look for our show notes at gamingpodcast.net, along with industry news and our gaming history articles. We enjoy feedback, so leave us comments on our blog at gamingpodcast.net. Also, set us up at facebook.com/gamingpodcast. Subscribe to us at iTunes. Leave some iTunes comments. You can find me on Blue Sky at Jonah Falcon.
You can find me at Johnny Chugs.
You could find me at Shard Remore.
And you will not see me next week because I'll be in La La Land. I will be in LA all next week. So you won't see me or this podcast for another 2 weeks.
Alrighty.
Why I'm going is because I need to get away and get some sun and go to the beach.
Well, I hope you enjoy yourself then.
I plan to. I have a lot of friends in LA. Most of my friends moved to LA. It's weird. I'm the only one who didn't move out to the West Coast.
You were
Anyways,
you were out in that coast for a little bit, but then
I was there for 2 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was there for 2 years. Anyways, we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Happy gaming, everyone.
Have fun, be cool, play games, y'all.
And that's the end of the stream.